What it do, YouTube? Is Jiren here, back with another video. So, actually, I'm changing the spark plugs for my car today. Long story short, I got the Brisk plugs. They did not like, I don't know, my car did not like the Brisk plugs at all. And so I'm changing them out. The reason why I say they don't like them is because I was lane switching and my car shuddered a lot. And I was like, oh, misfire big time. And so I checked the codes. I got the P300 code, P305 for cylinder 5. I got worried a little bit, so I changed the plugs to the new brisks. I ordered new brisks because I was already on brisks. So I changed the new brisks, and I did that because I assumed that 8,000 miles was the limit, because that's how many miles I put on those plugs. And I realized that it wasn't the brisk plug. I mean, it wasn't the fact that they were old. I got new brisks, and it still had the misfire. I changed the ignition coil, still had the misfire. So I ended up getting my personal mechanic to look at them, and he said the brisks are too. Like there's the tip part is too far, maybe the gap is too far to the engine piston. And so it's not necessary. They did that so that at high RPMs, you'll be, you won't hit the spark plug. Again, this is how it was explained to me. I'm not too sure on this particulars, and this is what I was told. And so I decided, okay, if I don't need to go brisk plugs on stage 1, I won't do it. And so I'm gonna go back to the OEMs, the VW NGKs. So I'm gonna put those in now because they're the ones that are in already now that make the car work again. The ones that are in now are the ones where I had 32,000 miles on them. And so like, we just did that so the car can stop misfiring, but we want brand new plugs for the stage 1 tune. And so let's get into that now. This is basically just a tutorial on changing your spark plugs, and I'll give you guys all the measurements and the gaps and whatever you need in order to feel comfortable. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, so as you guys know the drill, take the cover off. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure we take this air filter off. All right, and then we'll take these out. That's 1, that's 2. Set it on the floor gently. Basically, this is where we're gonna operate. And so we're gonna take this out, which is the fuel line, I believe. You should hear 2 grommet pops, right? And then what you're gonna do is also take this wire off of its clip so that you have a lot more clearance to move around, right? And then you also take these ignition clips out. I have a special tool to help me do that. You can get this off Amazon. You don't have to get it off ECS. I like 1-day shipping, so that's the reason why I did that. And then this is a pick tool, of course. And so I'll show you guys what you guys should do in order to get that out. Hopefully this is a better view for you guys. So what I'm gonna do is take this out right here. Just pick with this pick tool, take these 3 out. You might not be able to see this 3rd one, but it's there underneath the ethanol sensor, right? And then what you need next is the 230 right here. Oh, did it focus? No, it didn't focus. It's not gonna focus. Oh well, it's a 230, trust me. I won't lie to you guys. And what we'll do is we'll also take these out so that we can get more clearance again. All right, get those out the way. Take the screws out 1 by 1. Just be careful. Whew, okay, those 3 are out. What we'll use is the plug, the ignition coil tool, sorry. And the way we use this is that you just make sure it's at this point. Geez, I wish this would focus. Yeah, make sure it's at this point. And then when you want to pull it out, you spin this part, and then it'll yank it out, and we should be good to go. So let's do it now. And spin it to the top. Tighten that up. And you'll have more space on this side than the other side. So let's show you guys the old plugs. So what I'm gonna use is, of course, my spark plug tool, thin wall. So let's take the first one off. And this is what it looks like. Put this under there too. Third one. These are the old plugs. Got a tune. Shouldn't be BSing with stuff like this. And it's pretty easy to do, so you guys should be able to knock these out yourself as well. All right, so these are all brand new, of course, and they're gapped to 0.023. And so I'm gonna install these. That's what you should gap them to. That's what I would gap them to if I were you, especially if it's tuned in stage 1. And so we're gonna install these. And we go, baby. All right, those are installed. Let's make sure we tighten them. All right, guys, so 22 foot-pounds it is. So we're gonna set that torque wrench to that. When you hear that noise, you know you're good to go. Once you do that, ignition coil is back in. And I have a tool, so I don't want to use anti-seize, mess up my boots and get them dirty. This is just something I want to do personally. You guys definitely do not have to follow those footsteps. We're just gonna tighten these like enough to be snug. Because they do not need to be tight at all. So the left side, or passenger side of the car is done. I'm gonna clip these back in. Plug this back in. Put this wire back in. All right. Such. And we're good to go. So I'm gonna put the air blocks actually back in, and then I'm gonna get started on the other side. And for reference, guys, again, these are the old ones, right? Can you see that? Pretty dirty. Yeah, there you go. These are the new ones. Old, new. These are 32,000 miles on them. Like, let's say 10,000 or 6 to 10,000 miles of tune, stage 1. These are brand new. So you can see the difference. Make sure the insides, of course, aren't bad, and that's how you can tell if your plugs are lean or whatnot. Basically, if it's running lean, there's gonna be a line right here. And if it's running too rich, it's gonna be a line at the top. Either or, it's bad. So make sure you look out for that, and make sure the white part on the inside isn't dirty. That means they're burning properly. All right, guys. So this is the other side, the driver's side. And so what you want to do is you want to be able to, like, again, have more clearance. And the way you get more clearance is you pop this ECU cover off. What you do is you just pop this out, and this will come out. I already did mine. So yeah, I just want to make sure I get that out of the way for you guys. And then next, what you're gonna have to do is you're going to have to pop this section out, right? So the way you pop it out is you're gonna hear one grommet, and in this, see this metal almost lever, it's gonna have to come out of that hook area, or the socket area, right? And that's how we're gonna work. Another thing I like to do is I like to pop this line, right? And put that over the top right there like that, so that I can have a little bit more room. And then when it comes to the ECU, just move it around, finagle, X, Y, Z, such and so forth. But the number one thing is once you pull the socket out, or pull the clip out from the ignition coil, you'll have a lot more space to room to move around and maneuver. And we're gonna do that now. That out as well. And that's 3. Let's get the drill in. one. That's two, and that's three. Use our handy dandy fishing coil tool. Love it. It's so useful. Good to go with that. Pull it up and almost turn it. We should be good to go. All right, that's one. Boop. That's two. All right, that's three. Spark plugs are next. Let's take these out. All right, guys, this side is really weird. So I have like a double extender. You know how the swivel is for the normal spark plug tool? I got another one for this one because you'll see why in a second. Let's just get this in first. Take this off because this is clearly not gonna go as planned. Drop that in there. You see how the extension is like right here? We need more, but this should be enough. Right? And what we're gonna do is just gonna lock this part. We're gonna take this out. That's one, two, three. These are the driver's side. Just not fun to look at all. But again, they're not that bad inside. These come already pre-gapped to 0.23. If you want proof, I just took these out the box, and this is where it ends up at. That's literally where they end up at. Right between 0.024. Sorry, 0.23 and 0.24. And so, don't know if you guys can see that right there. That's pre-gapped. They're all the same. These are the other pair that I have. Just put them in the easiest part and then slide them down. And then right between there again. This is where they're at. Now, I'd rather leave them at 0.023 because apparently that's best for when you are a spirited driver, and that can't tell you who told me that or why I was told that. You don't have to listen to me. You can put it dead in the center between the 0.23 and the 0.25 and be 0.224, but that's just what I'm gonna do. And so to each their own. So let's get these babies in. Put those ignition coils back in. Lock them in on the side. You put these plugs back in, so make sure they're in all the way. Clip that in, put that bit back. Clip that. Put that back in, should be good to go. Put this ECU back in as well. That's the way I do this, it's nice and smooth. Go on this side first, then lean this down like about to open it again, and then it closes back in perfectly. That's how I like it, nice and simple and easy. Put it back in the grommet, and that back in the socket. Then you also make sure you put this wire back in there, and then you let it hold in this gap right here. That's where that wire goes. Don't forget, we took this out. gotta put it back. All right, and everything should be as good as new. We're gonna put the engine cover back on and start up the car. So let's see what we have in store. All right, guys. So let's start up the car and see how everything's back to normal. So far, so good. If you see the RPMs really low like that, it's because the tune allows the car to warm up before you can even get that high to an RPM. Most of the time, even when it's cold, I don't drive past 4,500 RPM anyway. I only get to that point so that I can warm up the car faster. I doubt it's damaging anything, but yeah. So we're gonna drive. We're gonna put the car in sport, RS1 mode, whatever you want to call it, and we're gonna take it out for a little quick spin, and then we'll see how everything is. All right, guys. So the engine's warmed up pretty much. I know here it says it's cold, but it's at 167 degrees. At least my oil is. So I'm pretty sure the engine's warm enough. So yeah, we'll just take a quick look and see what's going on, honestly, and how does the car feel. Because I did feel a little bit, I don't want to say a delay, because I did flash back to the 93 tune instead of the E85, because I thought that was one of the problems I was having. But yeah, I just wanted to take a look and see if I could dumb down the car a little bit. Maybe that was affecting the timing, or I don't know, but we're gonna go ahead and floor it now and see how everything is. Much better. Much better. Much better, much better, much better. Much better. Yes, that's what I wanted. So yeah, guys, all in all, it's a very simple install, bro. I really hope that you guys are comfortable with doing this. I know I say that a lot with a lot of the things that I do, but I am no mechanic, and I promise you I've done this install about 4 or 5 times now, no issues in my mind. Like, clearly I just did it just myself, and the car is perfectly fine. So I'm not blaming 034. I just know that the Brisk plugs didn't work for me. I had my first pair run out of, I guess, life. Let's say maybe that's why the misfire code came up, and it was on cylinder 1, and then it was on cylinder 5, and then it was a random misfire code. So okay, let's switch the spark plugs out. I switched the spark plug out to new Brisk. I had the same issue. I got new ignition coils. I had the same issue, and so I was like, okay, what the heck? Not what the F, but what the heck is going on? And so I started to get nervous, of course, like any person would, because I didn't really want to buy new injectors. I didn't feel like new injectors were needed on a 40,000 mile car. And so yeah, I was just upset about that. But I'm glad to know that just changing it back to OEM plugs, which is the NGK VW ones, are the fix. And honestly, it's really just that simple. Like, it's really just that simple. I wanted to also say that, again, the OEM plugs are good until you have to go to stage 3. So when you're stage 3, apparently a piece of the spark plugs fall off, and clearly that's not good. That's not what we want. But for stage 1, you're pretty much good. I had an example of somebody in the group chat I'm in. I'm pretty sure you guys know him on YouTube. His name is Master Olu. His piece broke, like, after one pull. And so I'm only stage 1 right now, and we'll see what happens if I still ended up wanting to go to stage 3. But right now, I'm not thinking that's something I want to do. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. It's been a pleasure. You just making a channel. I made it to my first 3K video. I remember I was at 1K, 2K, now I'm at 3K, so I appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. That really helps the page, helps the channel out. You guys know the drill. You guys know how it goes. Ooh, this truck's pretty diesel, pretty big. Yeah, get out the way. Yeah, but again, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll holler at you guys at the next video, all right? Peace.